Hello everyone and welcome to week 8 of the TBL. Your New York Empoleons are 4-3, taking on the also 4-3 Suffolk Skuntanks, coached by Midnight Wolf. We are both currently holding playoff positions, but there are still 3 weeks left of the season and anything can happen. Neither of us have locked up our spot yet, but neither of us are out of the run for first in the division either. So this is going to be a big match for us. If we can win it, we will be one game out behind the St. Louis Charizards for first in the division. That's what we're looking for right now. So anyway, Arcanine, Mismagius, Stoutland, kommo-o, Mega Scizor, and Donphan is the team I'm expecting him to bring. I really don't see the Toxapex coming, though he could. Zangoose is really threatening if he does decide to bring it. He's got a couple of other other threats on there that I would not love to see, let's be honest. On my side, we're going to bring Weezing, Claydol, Latias, Mega Absol, Empoleon, and Tapu Lele. If these Pokemon look unique or different to you, that means you probably didn't watch the Team Builder where I explained that we made some trade deadline moves here, and this team has shaped up to be really, really interesting. So we've got some new threats coming this week. We got some new threats coming down the pipeline. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. But I will see you guys back here with that battle in just a second. Alright everyone, welcome back. Here we go, getting ready to get started. What 6 Pokemon are we going to see Midnight Wolf bring to face us? Arcanine, Porygon 2, kommo-o, Tapu Koko, Mega Scizor, and Mismagius. Well, you know what? We got it darn close. He doesn't have the Stoutland, instead he brings Porygon 2, a different normal type. And I know he likes his bulk, so I understand why he's doing that. Now, what do we want to do to lead against this team? Now, his only form of hazard removal is the Scizor with potentially Defog. And I could set up my Toxic Spikes right away, force that Scizor out, force it to Defog, which may be something he doesn't necessarily want to do. And I don't see anything that's a great matchup against my Weezing, unless he's got Psychic on Mismagius. The other option would be going straight with my Claydol as a lead, which I like a little bit more. Mismagius with Psychic would counter both of those possible leads, but if he does lead with his Mismagius, we will deal with that when the time comes. Now, Shadow Ball Mismagius doesn't OHKO my Claydol, because I am max special defense and calm nature, so we do have the ability to set up our rocks if that's the case. And I think getting these rocks up will be really helpful against the team that he's brought against us right now. So we are going to just start with our Claydol, get this going, get this battle underway. I am way too nervous. So there's that Mismagius, just like we said. That was a very probable lead. Now, if he has Ghostium Z, he does kill. If he has Specs, though, he does not. So we're looking at definitely possible Ghostium Z. If he burns that turn 1 on my Claydol, that would suck. I wouldn't get my rocks up, but it would be okay. It wouldn't be the end of the world. The other option is going out into my Absol here, but if he predicts that and goes for Dazzling Gleam on my Absol, like, that might just be like the game right there. I don't see him going for a crazy prediction like that. First turn, and then if he's not Scarfed, I outspeed him. But I think the safe play is just setting up the Stealth Rocks here. If he does go for the Ghostium Z, he's just going to go straight Shadow Ball, so no Ghostium Z or anything. That's okay. We're going to take that. So that's Specs damage. It has to be Specs damage. So that is really, really useful information to have, knowing that he's Choice Specs. Because there's no way that was going to do that much damage without it. Now, knowing he's Choice Specs, I could go straight into Absol here. Absol is going to take 50 to 60% from Choice Specs. Choice Specs Mismagius. I can get my Mega off, click Knockoff, and nothing wants to switch into a Knockoff very much, and then nothing's going to outspeed me on the return. So that is an option. I could also just stay in and let this thing go down. At this point, it's done what it needed to do, and it's not going to outspeed anything on his team outside the Porygon 2. I don't have Toxic for it anyway. I really don't want this thing in on that. So knowing that he's Choice Specs, I definitely think that my best option is just letting this thing go down, getting the safe switch into Mega Absol next turn, not taking 60%. And if he decides to switch out or something, so he's just going to Shadow Ball. That's okay. We're good with that. So Mismagius kills Claydol with Shadow Ball. And that's all right. Again, I'm actually totally okay with that. Whoa. we're just going to go straight into Absol here and click knockoff, which will body this thing if he stays in. And we do have enough speed to guarantee that we outspeed on this Magius. So we do have that option here. Ability doesn't matter because we are about to Mega Evolve. I'm going to go for the knockoff. If he does switch out and does go out into like the kommo-o to take the knockoff, obviously it'll eat it, but it won't love it. And we do outspeed it and can click Play Rough on the following turn. If he goes out into the Mega Scizor, again, that can also take a knockoff pretty well, but we outspeed it and we can go for a Flamethrower on the following turn. So we have coverage for his entire team. The only thing that obviously can come in here and threaten me out again would be that Tapu Koko, which can take about 40% from a knockoff, and then I will switch out. I won't stay in on that. But because the rest of his team, this Mega Absol can handle just fine. And by having access to the Magic Bounce, it'll be really helpful. So we could go out right into the Arcanine. Now this thing could have Extreme Speed, but Extreme Speed is not going to kill. I wonder if he'd be running Scarfed Arcanine. He's going to Intimidate me. So that is, you know, not going to do as much damage as I want to, but still looking at, you know, potentially as much as like 30% to 40%. Yeah, knock off the Leftovers. Okay. So Arcanine, we see Leftovers, we see Intimidate. So I do have that. I do have the Defiant Empoleon. So let me take a look at Empoleon to face down Arcanine. Flare Blitz is still going to do a lot of damage to my Empoleon. Now Weezing could come in here. Weezing, obviously my answer to Scizor, so I don't want it to go down too early to the Arcanine. I'm just expecting to be physical here. Now Weezing... Weezing is definitely an option at this point to come in against this Arcanine. Definitely don't want to leave my Absol in here. It does way too much work against the rest of his team. I could go out into my Latias, which can do 40 to 50% to an Arcanine. That's not a bad option. Flare Blitz isn't going to do that much damage. I think I'm just going to go into Weezing here, which can definitely... I'm going to go into Latias here. I don't see him going for a Crunch. That would be a very surprising play if he does do it. We know he doesn't have a Z-move on this thing, which is great. And he's just going to Morning Sun, so he's defensive Arcanine. So we saw that on the amount of damage that last attack did. So he is going to get back to pretty full. Psychic should do 40 to 50%. I could set up... I could do something, but I really don't think there's anything worth doing. Clicking Psychic just is going to hit anything hard. I mean, he could go into the Scizor here. And if he does go into the Scizor here, I'm just going to switch out, but it's still doing 20 to 30% to the Scizor. So, because I could just hard switch back out into something else like my Weezing. Or my Empoleon even. Because I don't see him staying in on this. Unless he has, you know, unless he has the Crunch. I'm going to Psychic. Let's see what he does. If he does go into the Scizor, it's okay. So he's going to switch out. He's going to go out into Porygon 2 here. That's an interesting switch here. So Porygon 2 is going to come in. It's going to Trace. So it's Trace Porygon 2. So he's now got Levitate. So that's actually okay. And we are going to get a Psychic off. That's a critical hit Psychic. No special defense drop, so that's okay. So how much does this do to a Porygon 2? 20 to 24% generally. If I crit, 30 to 36 if he's pretty specially invested. So he's not that specially defensive based on how much damage that did. I could Psychic again. If I had tricked there, that would have been really, really crazy. I could go into Absol. He's not Download, he's Trace. And so at this point I could go back into Absol and, you know, kind of eat any hit from him. I could go into my Empoleon. I don't really want to go into Absol here. I could go into Empoleon. I could go into Wheezing and try to start setting up Toxic Spikes as well. Just limit his switches into those. Because I don't see him doing anything to Wheezing at this point. So we're going to do that. We're going to go out into Wheezing here. And if he attacks, he attacks. The real threat is him having like Psychic coverage, which I don't expect him to have. And at this point, his Mega Scizor can't really safely switch into my Wheezing. And if he does, I'll just Flamethrower it. So I can just click Toxic Spikes a couple of times here. I'm going to be very sure that he's running Eviolite on this thing. I'm going to mark that down. I obviously don't have confirmation of that yet, but I'm going to be pretty darn sure that he does. And so we are going to be able to get some Toxic Spikes up here. So he does have the Psychic, which is really, really good prep on his part. That's a critical hit Psychic in return. So we are going to get up one layer of Toxic Spikes. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to switch the heck out of here with my Wheezing. I do not want this thing taking another Psychic. That's for sure. Now, the question is he going to predict my Absol to come in on this attack? And is he going to go for something else? Because even a non-invested Tri-Attack does a lot of damage to my Absol. That was a critical hit on my Wheezing, which is really bad, because I really wanted this thing to be a switch into Scizor. Not just regular Porygon. It's Porygon 2. And he's got Psychic. Not Hidden Power Psychic. Goodness damage calcs. So, he's got a lot of special investment. A lot of special attack investment for that crit to have done that much damage. Like, according to this, oh, hold on. That's because I have the wrong item on this thing. Alright. He's got a decent amount of special attack investment. Not quite as much as I was expecting him to have. I could go into Empoleon as a pretty safe, like, middle ground play. He's not going to have anything for me, really. Could have Thunderbolt, but Thunderbolt's not going to do that much damage to my Empoleon. I'm going to do that. It's got Knockoff, and it does handle his Psychic. If it does handle, if he goes for, like, some Tri-Attack or something to try to predict the Absol coming in. So Shadow Ball, interesting, because that doesn't cover the Absol coming in at all. Now, at this point, I can click either Agility or Knockoff. I kind of want to click Agility, because if he switches into, like, I just realized he doesn't have the Donphan, and he instead has the Koko. So we're gonna correct that on the screen, but that's my bad. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's not like we needed that anyway. If he does go into the Koko here, I would outspeed it then and be able to click Earthquake at that point. So that's really, really useful. Although I don't really do anything to a Porygon 2, to be perfectly honest, without clicking Knockoff. We're going to click Agility. I'm going to do that. And he does have enough speed in his Porygon 2 to outspeed my Wheezing, which is really interesting. Now, the whole point of the early part of this game, I know I'm down a Mon right now, but the whole point of this early part of the game was just setting up for myself to be successful with my sweepers when the time comes. And I think we're going to be in a good place to do that. So he is going to go out into Tapu Koko, and we do have a Wakan Berry on this Empoleon. And so we are going to be able to survive a Thunderbolt in the electric terrain, even from the range that we're at, I'm pretty sure. And we definitely outspeed him at this point. So it's possible from that range that my Earthquake will straight kill him. Just making sure that we have the Wakan Berry, and we do. So I'm going to click Earthquake here. We do outspeed a Tapu Koko if he's not Scarfed, and he's not Scarfed. And so we are going to get this huge Earthquake off on a Tapu Koko here. And down goes Tapu Koko. So that's awesome. So Empoleon kills Tapu Koko with Earthquake. Now the hilarious thing is last time I faced Midnight Wolf, I tried to set up a Swords Dance Empoleon and ended up not quite being able to get the full sweep with it. This time I'm setting up an Agility Empoleon, and we're going to see how well this goes this time. So he does go into the Scizor here. Scizor with Superpower does straight body me. Like there's just no two ways about it. But I can't really hard switch into anything either, except for the Wheezing, which could go down at this point. My Empoleon setting up that agility, it can do that on Porygon 2 again if it has to. And I really don't think it's good to let the Empoleon go down yet because it does have priority and it can handle the Arcanine pretty well. So I could just sack Wheezing. He could Defog here. That would be the other thing, is that if he does just go for a Defog, then I do want to stay in and go for an Earthquake to get some damage off on this thing. Although he could just Roost at some point. So I am just going to go into Wheezing here. If he does decide to Defog, then he does decide to Defog. And that's just, you know, I lose access to those rocks and those toxic spikes for the rest of the game. Worse things have happened, to be perfectly honest. Because at that point, we can definitely switch out into Mega Absol or Lele, depending on what the case is. So he does go for the Defog here. That is annoying. But again, I could have stayed in and Earthquaked on that and gotten the huge Defiant boost. That actually, oh my god, I can't believe I just did that, because I knew he was going to do that, and I could have gotten a huge Defiant boost and been +2/+2. I'm going to Protect. I want to see what he's going to do. I want to see what he's going to do here. Because I'm max physical defense, and so certain attacks won't kill me. I want to know what you're going to try to do. So we're going to Protect. Let's see what you're doing. Goes for the Bullet Punch. So I could go out into Lele to take that Bullet Punch. Bullet Punch does 24 to 32%, which is 47 to 56 to my Wheezing. So Bullet Punch does kill from this range. I think going out into Lele here makes sense. I can't see him going for anything but the Bullet Punch. And Lele is going to be able to handle any other attack and dish out an HP Fire on this thing on the following turn. So I am going to switch out. I am going to go into Lele here. Man, if I had gotten that Defiant boost on the Defog, that would have been huge. So we are going to go into Lele. We are going to set up the Misty Terrain here. So let him Bullet Punch if he wants to. There he goes with that Bullet Punch again, and he can't hit me with it. And so now I can click Hidden Power Fire. I know he doesn't have the Arcanine with the with Flash Fire, so that doesn't threaten me that much. Additionally, we should have Speed in Arcanine unless he's max speed, but I don't think he is because we saw that bulk. And so if he does decide to stay in and click Bug Bite, we're going to be able to eat that if we have to, but that's only if he's like very, very specially defensive here. This should kill after the Stealth Rocks if he's not bulky. And he has just enough bulk to survive that. He sets up a Swords Dance. Well, now what you're going to do? Now that you know that I have the Hidden Power Fire, and I could bluff that I am choiced, since he wouldn't have seen an item. But the other thing I could do is just go for a Psychic, which will hit everything else so much harder when he decides to switch out the Scizor, because I don't have Stealth Rocks anymore, and he has access to Bullet Punch for later. I'm pretty sure that Psychic is just the play. I don't need to bluff that I'm choiced at this point. And so we are just going to take out this Mega Scizor with Tapu Lele. I love that Tapu Lele counters Mega Scizor. It just makes me so happy. So Tapu Lele kills Mega Scizor with Psychic. So he had just enough bulk to survive that Hidden Power Fire, but he doesn't have enough to deal with me. Now, he could go into Mismagius, which obviously is a problem. That will mean that I do have to go into my Wheezing, which was designed to specifically handle the Scizor, which is dead now. And so I should sack off my Wheezing here, see what he's going to go for, and then proceed from there. Probably just go back into Absol at that point. But since the Arcanine has no item anymore, the Absol doesn't deal with it as well as I want it to. So we are going to have to make sure that we keep something else alive to check that Arcanine. Now the Absol, because he does have the Intimidate and he does have the Arcanine. And so here's the Shadow Ball. So the other option is going out into Empoleon, which I don't think wants to take a Spec Shadow Ball from a Mismagius. I really don't. I just don't think that that's a great idea. It actually doesn't mind taking a Spec Shadow Ball from Mismagius that much. According to this, Choice Specs, Timid, Mismagius. Let's go with Modest to be, totally sure. But Choice Specs, Modest Shadow Ball to my set of Empoleon is only doing 50 to 60%. So I'm just going to go... I could just go into Absol. So the thing is, I could just go straight into Absol here. And... click Knockoff again. I mean, Empoleon would kill it with a Knockoff as well. I'm going to go into Empoleon. I really hope this calc isn't lying to me right now. It seems low. It seems like low for what I wanted to, for what I'm expecting. But it says it maxes out at 115 damage, and so I can click Agility here. I would outspeed it then because I know he's Specs, not Scarf, or I can just click Knockoff straight away. I'm going to click Knockoff. I don't think I need the Agility right now, and I don't want to risk him being Scarfed for some godforsaken reason, even though I know he's Specs from the damage he did to my Claydol. And we are gonna try to kill this Mismagius right here with this Knockoff, which I haven't revealed yet. I don't think. I don't recall revealing it. I just revealed that I have Earthquake and Agility, and then I switched out. So he does not know that I have Knockoff yet on this Empoleon. He probably knows that Empoleon gets Knockoff, but I don't think he knows that I have it. And come on, don't kill me. Why do I feel like this calc is lying to me right now? And the other option is you could go out into Arcanine here and get me that +1, which I'm okay with. It would obviously eat the Knockoff because it has no item. But then an Earthquake will kill an Arcanine from there. Even Aqua Jet at +1 after a Knockoff will do a lot. So I'm kind of like, I'm thinking I maybe should have set up an Agility, but we do have some bulk investment, so we are going to be able to take this. If we do take it, we click the Knockoff, and is that the end of Mismagius? Yes, that is the end of Mismagius. So down goes Mismagius. So Mismagius, wow, I just said Mismagius so many times in the same sentence right there. Kills Weezing with Shadow Ball, and then Empoleon kills Mismagius with Knockoff. Now out comes the kommo-o. Okay. Now this thing's a problem. Empoleon still sort of has use to me against that Arcanine. Not that much use. And the rest of my team can also be really useful against it. My Latias is Scarfed. So kommo-o after one Dragon Dance does not outspeed a Scarfed Latias. And Psychic does a bunch, but not necessarily a guaranteed OHKO. At that point, I'm going to click Aqua Jet. I know it's not going to do that much damage to this thing, but what I'm really worried about is him setting up 2 Dragon Dances here. That's actually like the scariest thing, would be him setting up 2 Dragon Dances. Now the thing is, I don't know what coverage he's going to have for my Latias. kommo-o gets so much coverage. If he gets a second Dragon Dance up, I'm in trouble. I'm going to click Earthquake at this point. The damage I did was enough to... Yeah, so there's that second Dragon Dance. Now Earthquake's going to do about 30%. And... so he does set up the second Dragon Dance to outspeed my Latias. I still don't know if he can OHKO a Latias. He's at +2. He's got to be able to OHKO with something. Oh, with the Dragon-type move. What am I talking about? Did I just throw this game away by not switching into Latias on turn 1 there? Like, what do I do to handle this thing? Does it have Poison Jab? Probably. Man, I should have just straight switched into Latias, because then I would still outspeed it and be able to click Psychic. Why did I not do that? Why did I not do that? Alright, let's see what you're going to go for. Straight for the Drain Punch. Alright, the question is going to be, what coverage does he have? If he's going to not have coverage, it's going to be for Lele. That's the only thing that I can think that he may not have coverage for. Otherwise, he's going to be able to outspeed my entire team and kill me. So I could get swept here by kommo-o, and that's okay. I'm I'm okay losing this match if I have to. Kills Empoleon with Drain Punch. That was me knowing the play and not doing it too. Obviously, I'm just going to click Moonblast here. That is just 100% of the time the play. Does he have Poison Jab? He does have Poison Jab. I don't have the berry for that. So that's definitely going to take me out from there. And at that point, all he's got to do is just have the Dragon-type coverage, and he's going to take out the Latias. And I think that'll be game. Oh, kills Tapu Lele with Poison Jab. I really don't know why I didn't just hard switch into Latias there, because then he wouldn't have been able to set up a second one. And so yeah, do you have a Dragon type move? Would be the question here. If the Dragon type move is Outrage, I'm gonna be pissed at myself. If the Dragon type move is Outrage, I'm gonna be pissed at myself. It's just Dragon Claw. Yeah, that's okay. So that's fine. So we do lose this one. We go back to 500 with Dragon Claw. But we do get a lot of information. We do have a couple more weeks left to make the playoffs. Like I said, my goal last when I was down 0-3, my goal was to go back to 5-5 by the end of the season, and I think we're going to be good to do that. We still have 2 weeks left, one against the St. Louis Charizards and one against the Wisconsin Whimsicots. Great game to my opponent, Midnight Wolf. He has beaten me twice now in this league, and that's tough to do. He's one of the few people who's ever done it, so shout out to him, and I will see you guys next week when we take on the St. Louis Charizards, the division leader in the Ultra Sun division here in the TBL, and try to get ourselves back above 500 and hopefully finish the season 6-4, much better than 5-5 if we can do it. I will see you guys later. Take care, everyone. That's not how I end my videos usually. Oh.